Josh McDaniels landed at Rams Park from the Denver Broncos on the rebound. He was a failed head coach trying to regain his footing as an offensive coordinator. While McDaniels didn't get much done offensively here under head coach Jeff Fisher, he got his career moving back in the right direction. He was supposed to come full circle Tuesday, leaving his post as New England Patriots offensive coordinator to coach the Indianapolis Colts. The deal was in the works for a month. The Colts scheduled his introductory news conference and trumpeted it on social media. Then McDaniels got cold feet, said no thanks and opted to stay on as Bill Belichick's offensive mastermind. So what happened? ESPN's Adam Schefter picks up the story. In the past 48 hours, Patriots owner Robert Kraft began talking with McDaniels and ultimately wound up sweetening his contract, helping to entice McDaniels, who had yet to sign a contract with the Colts, to remain in New England, a source said. But this wasn't a decision about money. The truth is, McDaniels, 41, has been vacillating on this decision throughout the interview process, ever since meeting with the Colts on wildcard weekend. It is the reason a second meeting with Colts officials and team owner Jim Irsay was held. McDaniels was trying to get comfortable with the idea of taking his family out of New England and moving to Indianapolis, sources said. Throughout the process, McDaniels had emphasized to the Colts that he would need time to mull the decision and discuss it with his family. The more McDaniels reflected on potentially having the opportunity to coach the Colts, the more it did not feel right to him and the better it felt to remain in New England. McDaniels still would like to become a head coach again, but this time, in this instance, he was not comfortable. Kraft was a bit anxious about his coaching staff, since defensive coordinator Matt Patricia, bearded, backward hat guy, left to coach the Detroit Lions. He hated to see Belichick's top two lieutenants leave at once. And he is still furious at the Colts for the whole Deflategate fiasco. Kraft relished the chance to stick it to Irsay. Not only did McDaniels get a raise, but he was reminded that he is a young man and Belichick can't coach forever. We think. Not only did Irsay get jobbed in this escapade, so did Colts assistant coaches including former Mizzou aide Matt Eberflus, most recently the assistant head coach linebackers coach in Dallas, and former Illinois defensive line coach Mike Fair. Fortunately, both men signed contracts and for now they have jobs as the Colts restart their head coaching search. What those jobs will look like in a week or two is a different matter. Mysteries of the universe are questions to ponder while the Blues try to relocate their urgency. So what's next for Nick Foles? Will the Washington Redskins rally behind Chief Wahoo? Doesn't gambling take all the fun out of a Super Bowl party? The Gridiron Chronicle share is what folks are writing about the start of the NFL offseason. Danny Kelly, the Ringer Alex Smith became the first quarterback domino to fall last week, and Jimmy Garoppolo may be next, with a recent report noting he and the 49ers could come to an agreement on a long-term extension as early as next week. Based on the way that Garoppolo played down the stretch, that move has the potential to transform the 49ers into a playoff-caliber team, creating a ripple effect felt throughout the NFC West while altering the complexion of the NFC overall. But those two moves are only the beginning of what looks like a chaotic period of player movement at the most important position in sports. With the Redskins grabbing Smith, where will Kirk Cousins sign? What will the Vikings do at the quarterback position with all three incumbents, Case Keenum, Sam Bradford, and Teddy Bridgewater, set to hit free agency? Will the Jaguars double down on Blake Bortles? Where will former Jets signal caller Josh McCown end up? Is Tyrod Taylor done in Buffalo? Will the Giants stick with Eli Manning? Will the Saints shock the world and move on from free agent Drew Brees? Okay, spoiler, no, they won't. There's plenty of quarterback-needy teams out there, including the Browns, Broncos, Jets, and Cardinals, and big changes could be in store for the Dolphins and Bills at that spot, too. How the game of musical chairs at the quarterback spot plays out will be the most important thing to keep an eye on in the coming months. Andrew Brandt, SI.com. I do not necessarily agree that veteran quarterbacks like Cousins will sign mega contracts in free agency, as supply may outstrip demand. Sure, looking at their resumes in a vacuum, it seems like players such as Cousins, Case Keenum, Sam Bradford, and yes, Colin Kaepernick would present teams like Cleveland, Denver, Arizona and the Jets better options than rookies. But what if those teams decide to invest the precious currency of a first-round draft pick in a quarterback or trade for someone like Nick Foles, where I think it will take a second-round pick to pry him away? Examples like the Bears' situation last year, or the Eagles' situation in 2016, where they invested heavily in a veteran Mike Glennon and Sam Bradford, respectively, before drafting their future quarterback Mitchell Trubisky and Carson Wentz, may give caution to some quarterback-needy teams. Matt Brinson, CBSSports.com. Cousins has been the subject of much skepticism over the years, with some questioning if his production was largely about empty stats. 2017 proved that narrative to be false. Cousins overcame the departure of his top two targets, Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon's, myriad injuries on the offensive line and struggles injuries to his current targets Jamison Crowder, Terrell Pryor and Jordan Reed, namely, to produce his finest season to date. If he looked like a quarterback who needed his surrounding cast to elevate him prior to this year, Cousins looked like a quarterback capable of elevating those around him in 2017. One of two things is going to happen with Cousins in free agency. He is either going to sign one of the largest deals we've ever seen and join a struggling franchise with tons of cap space, New York Jets, Cleveland, or he is going to sign a really big contract and join a contending club with the quarterback need, Jacksonville, Minnesota, Arizona. Megaphone pitches and catches will report to camps in Florida and Arizona in 1 week. A record number of talented free agents remain unemployed in an industry where revenues and franchise values are at record highs. Spring training has always been associated with hope for a new season. This year, a significant number of teams are engaged in a race to the bottom. This conduct is a fundamental breach of the trust between a team and its fans and threatens the very integrity of the game. MLB Players Association Tony Clark, taking aim at the owners.